The parrot who painted rainbows. Once upon a time, in the middle of green big jungle, there lived a parrot named Pico. Pico wasn't an ordinary parrot. While other parrots loved flying, copying other sounds, Pico loved colors. He loved to watch butterfly dance and staring the orange sunset and collecting colorful leaves. His feathers were bright green, but Pico has always wished that she could be fly and colorful like a rainbow. Every evening, after flying around the forest, Pico would sit on a high branch and dream. He would look at the sky and say, "Oh, how lovely it would be to paint the jungle with rainbows." But the other birds laughed at him. "You are a parrot, not a painter," said the Miana. "The rainbows are only in sky, not in trees. Why don't you just squeak like the rest of us?" Pico felt sad, but didn't stop dreaming. One morning, while flying near the waterfall, Pico saw something shiny near the rocks. Curious, he flew down and found a box, a wooden old box, with the little pots inside. Each pot had painted yellow, green, red, blue, purple, and more. Next to the box was a little sign written on the stone. It read, "To the one who believes in color, these paints are yours, but use them with kindness and magic will flow." Pico's eyes lit up in silence. Pico said he had picked up the leaves, dipped into the rain paint, and brushed the stone over. The stone just didn't turn out red, it sparkled like ruby. Pico flapped his wings in joy. "I will paint the jungle with the rainbow." The next morning, Pico woke up with early and flew to the jungle in the darkest corner, and he was very happy. He dipped the twig in blue paint, colored the branch, then yellow, orange, and he painted the branch started to glow. Flowers began to bloom, and suddenly butterflies fluttered in air. The air felt fresh, and soon animals came to see near him. "Who did this?" asked the jungle lion Raja. "I did it," said Pico. "I just wanted the jungle to smile." Raja looked at Pico with wide eyes. "You have a gift, but be careful. Too much color in one piece can make the beauty rest dull." Pico nodded. From that day, every morning, Pico flew to the new part of the jungle. He painted gently, and one tree's hair rocked there and pond with purple ripes. The birds who came to tease once Pico now to help him. Miana, May was carried by the water. Roar have even dipped the mouse. But not everyone was happy. Up on the hill lived a grumpy lizard named Laser. He didn't like the change. He liked things dull and quiet. "This parrot is ruining the jungle," he hissed. "Too many colors, too much noise. I must stop him." One night, while Pico was asleep, Laser sneaked into the jungle. He found the magic paint box. He dipped his long tail into the black paint and splashed it over. The next morning, the animals gasped. "What happened?" cried the baby monkey. "The colors are gone," said the Meena. "Who did this?" he whispered. Laser stood on the rock and said loudly, "The nature's way. The jungle is not a circus. Go back to being parrot." Pico looked at the tree and then to animals. He took a deep breath. "You are right, Laser," he said kindly. "The jungle is beautiful in its own way. I only want you to add smile." Pico turned around, picked up his paints and flew away. Days passed, the jungle grew quiet. The trees stayed dull. When the storm passed, the forest was a mess. The next morning as the sun rose, a soft sound was heard. Chirp, chirp, chirp. It was Pico. He flew back with his wet feathers, but his heart strong. He looked around and said the jungle needs to be joyed again. And Laser blinked. "Yes," Pico said. Every time the rainbow would appear in the sky, the jungle would say, "Look, that's Pico Dream flying up there." The moral of the story is, kids, your dreams can bring colors to the world. If you bring in them, share with them with kindness. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel PR Kids. Today I have got you a very interesting story. The title of the story is The Golden Egg Mystery. In a small village near a river, there lived a poor farmer named Peter. He worked hard on its little farm every day, but still struggled to earn enough money. Peter had a small house and a few chickens, an old cow. One day, while collecting eggs from his hen's nest, he saw unusual. Among the white eggs there was a shiny golden egg. Peter's eyes widened in surprise. A golden egg? How is this possible? He whispered. Excited and curious, he picked up the golden egg and ran to the market. When he showed it to the goldsmith, the man's eyes lit up. This is pure gold, the goldsmith exclaimed. I will buy it from you with a high price. Peter could not believe his luck. He happily sold the egg and returned home with a bag full of coins. The next morning, Peter checked again his nest. To his amazement, there was another golden egg. Day after day, he had laid a golden egg, and Peter's wealth grew. He bought new clothes, fixed his house, and became richer man in the village. But as his wealth increased, so did his greed. After Peter, first happy with one golden egg every day, but soon he became impatient. Why should I wait for one egg every day? What if I take all the golden eggs at once? He thought. Blindly and greed, Peter grabbed the one knife and said, if he lays one golden egg, there must be more inside her. Ignoring the warnings of white neighbors, he killed the hen and opened her up. But to his shock, there was no golden eggs inside, just like any other hen. Peter fell to his down in regret. What I have done, he cried. Without the magical hen, he could no more egg lays. Slowly he spent all his money and soon he was poor again. One day, a wise old man visited him and said, greed only leads to loss. If you have been patient, you would still have been the richest man in the village. Peter learned a lesson, but he was hard way. From that day on, Peter worked hard and never let the greed control him. He shared his story with others so no one would take the same mistake. The moral of the story is, kids, greed leads to loss, but patience and hard work brings the reward. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
Lessons from the Jungle. Parrot and Friends. In a dense, vibrant jungle where the trees touched the sky and the streams flowed like silver ribbons, there lived a cheerful parrot named Mitu. Mitu had colorful feathers, a bright orange beak, and a sharp mind. He always loved by all animals in the jungle for his wisdom and his knack for solving problems. Mitu best friends were Chiku the squirrel, Rani the pigeon, Jumbo the elephant, and Piku the rabbit. Together, they formed a close-knit group that always supported one another. One sunny morning, the friends were gathered under the shade of a big banyan tree, chatting and laughing. Suddenly, a distressed deer named Nilu approached them. Help! Nilu cried. There's a trouble near the river. A big branch has fallen, blocking the stream, and now there is no water flowing to the rest of the jungle. The animal gasped. Without water, the plants and animals in the jungle would suffer. We must do something, Mitu said firmly. Jumbo, the strongest among them, said, I can try to move the branch with my trunk. Rani added, I will fly over the cheeks and check whether the bag is packed or not. Chiku suggested, I can climb the trees and carry small tools like sticks to help and clear the distress. Mitu nodded. Great idea. Let's work together and solve this problem. The group quickly set off towards the river, led by Rani, who flew ahead and scouted. When they arrived, they saw the problem was worse than they imagined. The large branch has tangled with the vines and the rocks, completely stopping the flow of water. Jumbo stepped forward. And let me try to move the branch. He wrapped his trunk around the branch and pulled with all his might, but the vines and the rocks held it firmly in the place. Chiku climbed a nearby tree and began growling through the vines with sharp teeth. I will lose the vines, he said. Meanwhile, Rani and Mitu flew back and forth, bringing small sticks, leaves to clear the smaller ribs. Piku, the rabbit, worked on digging a small channel and let the water flow while the big blockage was being cleared. Hours passed and animals worked tirelessly. Slowly but surely, the branch began to move. Just a little more effort, Me Too encouraged everyone. Finally, with one last mighty pull from Jumbo and combined the all efforts of everyone else, the branch rolled away. The water gushed freely once again. The animal cheered and splashed. Hooray, we did it! Rani chirped happily. Just as the group was celebrating, a large growl echoed the jungle. A tiger named Sheru emerged from bushes, looking angry. Who dared to disturb my hunting ground? He roared. The animal froze in fear. Sheru was known to be fierce and territorial. Mitu bravely stepped forward and said, "We weren't disturbing your ground, Sheru. The stream was blocked and we were clearing to save the jungle." He growled, "I don't care about the stream. You scared me, my prey. Who will take the responsibility for that?" Thinking quickly, Mitu said, "Sheru, if the jungle dies without water, then there won't be any prey left for you. By saving the stream, we ensure that all animals, including your prey, can survive. Isn't that better for you too?" Sheru thought for a moment. He realized Mitu was right. Without water, the jungle would suffer, and so would be he. "You are wise, Mitu," Sheru said, voice softening. "I was too quickly to judge. Thank you for saving the jungle." The animal sighed with relief, and Sheru walked back peacefully. After the excitement was over, the group returned to the banyan tree to rest. Jumbo said, "Today showed us that teamwork can solve the biggest problems," Chiku added. "And we also learned to stay calm, use our wits in difficult situations." Rani chirped, "Me too. Your quick thinking saved us from Sheru. You are truly a wisest parrot in the jungle." Mitu smiled modesty. "We all play that part. The jungle is our home. It's duty to protect together." From that day on, the animals of the jungle worked even more closely, helping each other in times of need. They learned that kindness, courage, and teamwork could overcome any challenges. The story of Mitu and his friends spread through the jungle, becoming a tale of the parrots told the young ones to teach them the importance of unity and wisdom. The moral of the story is teamwork and unity can solve even the biggest problems. Kindness and quick thinking can turn challenges into opportunities. So, kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
Frodo, the frog's leap of faith. In a peaceful little pond at the edge of the forest lived a tiny green frog named Frodo. Frodo was cheerful, curious, and loved to sing in the rain. He had the bounciest legs and the happiest smile in the whole pond. But there was one thing Frodo was scared of: jumping across the Great Rock Gap. The Great Rock Gap was a row of 3 slippery stones between the pond and the big meadow. All the grown-up frogs could leap across easily, but some did even flips in midair. Frodo, however, was always froze that he can reach the edge or not. "What if I sleep? What if I fall? What if I never reach the other side?" His friends would giggle and say, "Come on, Frodo, you will never be real jumper if you don't leap." But Frodo would quietly turn around the hope on the mom, his grandpa, Old Rabbit. He often told him, "Courage isn't jumping far, Frodo. It's trusting yourself, and when you're scared." And still Frodo wasn't ready. Not yet. One morning the sky grew grey, and all the first drops of rain began to fall. Pitter, patter, drip, drop, and splash. The Frodo's favorite kind of day. He danced on lily pads, slid down in the wet leaves, and sang his songs. Raindrops falling from the sky. Little Frodo jumped so high. But when the rocks come to view, my brave heart say, "Not yet, not you." But suddenly, crack, thunder troubled into the sky, and the peaceful pond shook. The rain turned heavy. Old Ribbit croaked loudly far around the side of the pond. "Frodo, we must move. The water is too strong. It might overflow." All the frogs began to hop into the higher ground beyond the great rock gap. Frodo looked at the stones. They were slicky and wet. "Come on," shouted a friend. "You have to leap, Frodo." Frodo froze. The wind roared again. Baby Frog slipped and cried, "Help!" Frodo's heart beat fast. He looked at the baby frog and clinging to a twist, the water rushing the faster. Frodo didn't think anyone. He took one deep breath and leaped. Splash! He landed on the first stone, wobbly but safe. The second leap, he slipped
and balanced just in time. Then final jumps. With all his might, Frodo pushed off and flew through the air. He landed beside the baby frog and grabbed her just before the twig snapped. If you got stuck under his back, don't across the leap high. One, two, three, landed on a dry land. The fox cheered. Frodo did it. He saved her. He jumped the gap. Old Rabbit smiled with pride. Now there is a leap of faith. Frodo blinked. I did it? Baby Frog hugged him. You're my hero. From that day on, Frodo was no longer afraid of Gap, but more than that, he became known as the little frog with a big heart. Raindrops falling from the sky. Little Frodo still jumps high. But I know deep inside, the bravest leap is with heart as guide. So, kids, the moral of the story is courage isn't about being fearless, it's about doing the right thing even when you are afraid. Something your biggest leap comes from heart. So, kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. The Chacal's Lie. In a colorful jungle where the tree reached the sky and laughter echoed through the leaves, lived a group of friendly animals who believed in helping one another. The jungle was peaceful, filled with chattering monkeys, singing birds, playful deer, and a wise old turtle. Among them, there lived a jackal named Jiggy. Jiggy was sharp, fast, and clever, but he had a habit of that no one liked it. He lied a lot. He would say things that weren't true just to get what he wanted. He lied about hiding food and lied about his danger. He lied to make himself look important. One day, Jiggy ran to the middle of the forest, panting and shouting, "Everyone run! A tiger is coming!" The birds flew away. The rabbit dashed into their holes. The deer leaped behind the bushes, but no tiger came. The animals peeped out and asked, "Where's the tiger?" Jiggy grinned and said, "Oh, maybe he turned back." The animals were annoyed. "That wasn't funny, Jiggy." But Jiggy laughed and walked away, thinking he was very clever. After a few days, Jiggy told a sparrow, "There is a fruit festival by a waterfall. Lot of mangoes and bananas." The squirrel with her friends hurried over hungry and excitement. But when they got there, they say nothing. No fruits, no festival. There was another one of Jiggy's tricks. The squirrel returned angry. "This was mean. We are hungry and have hopeful." But Jiggy shrugged. "Just a joke." Slowly the animals stopped trusting him. They whispered to each other, "Be careful what you believe if Jiggy says it." Then the day came up with big jungle gathering. All the animals were meeting near the great banyan tree to plan an annual forest sharing day, where everyone brought something to share. Fruit, story, song, or skill. Jiggy arrived early, hoping to change something important. "I will guard the food table," he proudly said. The wise owl replied, "That's a big responsibility. Can we trust you?" Jiggy puffed out of his chest. "Of course, I am very responsible." The owl hesitated, but give him a chance. "All right, but I'll remember. This is for everyone." Soon animals began placing their goodies on a large banana leaf table: sweet berries, juicy mangoes, crunchy nuts, and golden honey. Jiggy licked his lips. "No, no one will notice if I taste a little." He lipped one berry, then a mango, then another, then another. By the time animals returned with flowers and decorations, half of the food was gone. Everyone gasped. "What happened to the food? Where are the mangoes? The nuts are missing." Jiggy wiped his mouth and said quickly, "It wasn't me. I saw a monkey sneaking and eating everything." The monkey cried, "That's a lie. We are decorating trees." The owl looked closely at Jiggy. There was honey poised in his lips and a mango seed under his tail. "Jiggy," the owl said gently, "do you want to try again?" Jiggy looked around. No one believed him. The animals looked sad and disappointed. He lowered his head. "I am sorry," he mumbled. "I ate the food and I lied." The jungle went quiet. The turtle said, "It takes courage to admit mistake, but trust once broken, it's hard to fix. You can earn our trust again, Jiggy, but the only through efforts and trust." From that day, Jiggy worked hard to change. He helped new gatherings, foods,
animals stayed even honesty. He apologized to each animal and lied. At first, animals were unsure, but surely they saw a difference. He warned the rabbit about the real snake. He shared bananas with fibbing. He also even admitted when he forgot his course. One evening, the squirrel smiled and said at him, "You are not the same Jiggy anymore." The owl said, wiser than ever in the jungle, "When lies falls, the truth shine." The moral of the story is, kids, telling the truth builds trust. Lies may seem easy, but honesty brings lasting respect and true friendship. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.